All right, Brandon Howard with me now. Thanks so much for joining me here and offering your time today.
Sure, of course.
So for those of you who don't know Brandon is an experiential, I should say, marketing expert, specifically for real estate. And I'm so excited that I got the chance to work with you. Tell me a little bit more, and everyone else who's catching this replay, what you do exactly.
Sure. Well, my background is in marketing and events. I used to work with a lot of major brands, doing a lot of their experiential campaigns. And I also used to own a nightclub restaurant. So I kind of have a weird sort of background, but I was able to merge the two and found a niche helping real estate developers who are building luxury high-rise communities, helping them to program their amenity spaces. So oftentimes these elaborate amenities are going underutilized. So with my background, I was able to create really unique and premium programming that not only helps engage residents, but is also a great marketing tool for the properties, because you're no longer just marketing, oh, we have a great, one bedrooms, or we have a great rooftop, it's more so being able to market the fact that they have a sense of community there, and a quality community. I do everything from, top chef demos to mixology classes to speaker workshops, you name it. Yeah, that's what I do.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. You've got so many different talents, and you've been able to weave them all together. So we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
What prompted you to ultimately reach out for coaching with your pitch?
Well, I got accepted into an accelerator program earlier last year, and we were coming down to our final demo day where we pitch our business in front of a lot of entrepreneurs and business leaders and potential investors. I was having a difficult time, I guess, capturing what I wanted to say and making it concise and being able to speak in front of a room of a couple hundred people. I had some difficulty sort of pulling my messaging together. When it came down to it, I needed some help, and you were the first person I thought about as far as being able to really help me sort of clarify what my pitch would be. So that's why I reached out.
So this was a big deal because it was a pitch in front of potential investors, potential partners. And I remember us going through it and really trying to nail what your ultimate message was and how you'd be able to benefit some of these communities that you could potentially work with. So what surprised you the most about working with me when we started?
I think you were able to pull out, I had a starting point, right? But it was just kind of all over the place. And I think what was most beneficial for me is that you were able to pull out the most important parts. You were able to help me kind of inject different messages that would capture the audience's attention and keep their attention, and really help me craft the message so that I didn't lose the audience, and I was speaking to them as if they were a part of the journey as well. So that to me, really was really helpful, and it showed when I did my final pitch. It was able to, I got some really positive feedback, and people got it. Whereas before, I was having a difficult time sort of communicating it clearly.
So you had done a similar circumstance where you were pitching to potential investors and you didn't feel like it necessarily hooked the audience, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It was like, I had sometimes as a business owner, you in your mind have one way of seeing your business and your service or whatever. And although it's clear in your head, sometimes it's not clear for other people to see it. So for me, I had a lot of different ideas on the table. And I think, after speaking with you, I was able to not only whittle it down to a concise message, but I was able to kind of home in on, powerful points that matter, that people want to hear, that's going to keep them engaged and keep them, because it was like a 3 or 4 minute pitch.
Yeah.
And you can kind of lose them after the first 30 seconds if they don't, they're not following. So I was able to kind of, be able to like not only keep their attention, but also, um, like, home in on certain points that I think matter to them the most, which I didn't have that beforehand.
What would you tell someone, Brandon, who's on the fence about working with me?
I would tell them to get out of their own way and to, it's sometimes you need help. And, I'm one of those people who is just kind of like, I'll figure it out and don't often reach out. But in this situation, it was the best decision I could have made. It made a world of difference. And, I would recommend anyone who is kind of stuck to utilize your service. I mean, I think it was incredibly helpful for me. So.
Thank you, Brandon. I sincerely appreciate that. And my last question is, what results are you seeing based off of that experience now, months later?
Well, I got a lot of attention from it. I had a couple different people reach out to me in the VC or investor world. It's helped me tremendously when I'm talking to new clients. I just kind of know where to home in on with them. And, it's also just, I've kind of picked up a few things as far as overall speaking to an audience, just kind of being more cognizant of the importance of kind of keeping their attention and not necessarily, having a bunch of filler in your speaking. Just kind of get to the point, make sure your messaging is clear, and be sure to, keep them engaged. And oftentimes I feel like, when you're just speaking, you're just trying to get it over with and you're not thinking about that component, but it's important because you can lose an audience quick. So.
Yeah, it's the game changer. And I'm glad to hear that you've received attention from investors and are in talks with different investors based on what we worked with. And I have no doubt that there will be tremendous success and abundance ahead for you as you just continue
2020 is the
forward.
year. Stepping stone. So.
Oh, yeah, exactly. All part of the journey. So thank you, Brandon, for your time. I sincerely appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you again, and I'll be back soon, hopefully.
Awesome.
All righty.